again. Soul Not For Sale podcast, episode 588. We got Joe Rogan, Tulsi Gabbard, and Tulsi Gabbard's talking about Trump. Joe's talking about Trump. BJ Penn's talking about Trump. And this is a surprising stance by Tulsi Gabbard, in my opinion, towards Trump. I always felt like she would be someone who not would have this leftist view of Trump, like he's the Antichrist or anything, but I didn't think she'd be so favorable about the man. But she is in this, and I think it's because when she ran for president, she felt the wrath of what Trump's going through now. She didn't get it quite as hard as Trump did. She got Hillary Clinton calling her a Russian asset. And, that's harsh enough when you've served the country and you've done all the things that Tulsi has done for the country. But I think she understands when she sees everything Trump's going through. She's like, oh, they're doing it again. They're doing it to someone else this time. So I was surprised at first, but as she kept talking about her experience with the government, becoming one of those, like Trump, unacceptable candidates, I think she feels for the guy more than I knew, for sure. So this is going to be an interesting clip here. So let's get right into it. Before I do, you know what I'm going to do. I'm going to take you to the store. This is IamCoachColin.com. Very fittingly, we are talking about the man, the myth, the legend, and the mugshot heard around the world. Get yours now. This is called the Presidential Mugshot Series. Hoodies, t-shirts, tank tops, all that good stuff. We also have the Certified Pure Blood shirt. For those of you that survived the pandemic unscathed, kept your mind strong, and did not break under the will of society pointing at you and making you feel as if you were dumb. This is your certificate of achievement. Get yours now. And we also have Public Enemy #1. Dr. Evil himself, the cricket connoisseur. Google the World Economic Forum, Google Agenda 2030, and you will quickly understand why this gentleman has been branded Public Enemy #1. Get all that at IamCoachColin.com. If you want 10% off of anything you've seen here, even this shirt, even this one, all you got to do is put in the discount code I am Coach Colin. That gets you 10% off. No questions asked, no sign up, no email, none of that stuff. It's all capital letters. It's all one word. There's one L in the name Colin, and that gets you 10% off. And if you've done that with us already, I say it every time and I mean it. You're so appreciated. Thank you, thank you, thank you. All right. Now let's get into this clip.
I think they are doing, and by they, I mean
Dr. Evil.
Well, no, it's bigger than that. It's bigger than that. By they, I mean the Democrat elite that have vast control. It's not just the President Biden or the Biden administration. It's the media. It's the politicized Department of Justice. They are doing the timing of all of these charges against Trump is not an accident. Wow. The fact that they want to hold multiple court hearings for these charges the day before Super Tuesday, which is a major turning point in any candidate's election. They want to kick off these court hearings the day before Super Tuesday. It's not an accident. This is all happening right now.
It's Banana Republic stuff.
It really is. And that's what they're doing is, again, these terrible things that are happening in our country are happening because we have people in power who care more about themselves and their power than they do about the people, this country, our Constitution, our democracy. They are setting this incredibly dangerous precedent that now, much like many banana republics in the world, whoever's in power has the ability to politicize and weaponize that power to go after their political opponent. That's the real. You take away whatever people think about Trump or whatever.
Right.
The consequences and implications of what is actually happening and what so many of the Democrat elite are justifying in the name of protecting democracy is actually destroying it.
And when you look at the charges, like when he gets indicted, where the day before there's a scandal, there's a chart of the revelations that have come about Biden.
Yeah.
And then day after Trump gets arraigned.
These guys got some power.
Trump gets indicted.
Right?
It's crazy.
Yeah.
It's crazy. It's just, the whole thing is just so.
So how much do we take?
I mean,
right?
what do we do? What can be done? What can be done? You know, I mean, I don't know at this point.
Well, I mean, it does. It starts with us it starts with us as Americans taking our own responsibility seriously. You know, in the Constitution and Bill of Rights, it talks about our government exists with the consent of the governed.
Yeah.
That's us.
There
when
is
you
more
have-
we
of
the
us,
people, that's us.
But these guys, yeah.
Yeah, but then when you have things like the deep state, like they're
Oh,
in
there's
forever.
no question. There's no question that these powerful entities are very real, and they want nothing more than to hold on to their power.
But isn't it fascinating that that was not generally discussed before 2016? Before
Yeah.
Trump got into office,
Yes.
that was not like a big
No.
concern that people had, like the CIA or
Because
the FBI
he's the
was
guy who
interfering.
broke through.
Right, right.
He's the, I mean, you know, you look at what the FBI and what the government was doing before that election even happened to try to take him off the field,
Yeah.
to try to eliminate him from being a choice that voters could seriously consider. You look at what the mainstream media, even Fox News did at
Yeah.
that time, to try to make it so people didn't take him seriously. He's the guy that broke through. And so what did they do? Every single day of his presidency, and now for years beyond, they're continuing to try to make sure that he is not allowed to carry out, you know, the things that he was talking about. And he is the guy who's, as you've talked about, he's the guy who talked very openly about the military-industrial complex
Yeah.
and their power and the deep state and these entities.
It's going to be really wild to see what happens in November. I'm very nervous about it. I'm very nervous about the country just as a whole.
Yeah.
I'm really worried that people are going to lose their fucking minds, you know, and that's going to be the tipping point. And then people are going to agree to even more stupid shit.
And it seems they just want us to fight with each other all day long. They
And
want
that's
the left and the
where,
right to fight.
That's where so much of what I'm dedicating my time and energy to is, you know, using every platform I have available to talk about the fundamentals of who we are as a country, as Americans. What were the values and principles this country was founded upon? And we can have different ideas on political issues here and there, but if we're standing on a common ground of recognizing our fundamental rights and freedoms, that is a pathway forward for us to make sure that we do all that we can to protect it, that we be critical thinkers, that we seek out the truth, that we speak the truth, that we're willing to have conversations with people who we might disagree with and know that, hey, yeah, you know what, I still respect you, you're still my friend.
Right.
It's cool. And by doing so and exercising our responsibility to vote for people who actually care about the people versus more of these same politicians who clearly only care about themselves and their own power, we can and must start to make that shift to save our country.
Tulsi, what's in your future politically?
It's a good question. I have experienced of what the power elite and all of their propaganda arms are capable of, and how they tanked my candidacy in 2020. If there were a viable path forward, I would take it. There are different possibilities that I'm looking at, but my goal is to serve our country, and my goal is to be in a position to make the most positive impact to serve the American people in our country.
Beautiful. We need more people like you.
Yeah, we really do. We really need more
there's
people
not
like this woman.
there's not a lot of people like you, and you exposed the system in so many ways because you were everything that everybody claimed they were looking for.
On its face, right? All the superficial things.
Everything. Eloquent, a leader, a person who served, a congresswoman, everything. Impeccable record, everything. And still, they're like, not her. No fucking way.
Because I didn't do what they wanted.
And there you
Yeah.
go.
Yeah.
I wouldn't
There
be
you
a
go.
puppet.
Yeah.
There we go. I love that. Good for her, man. Good for her. Now, like I said, I guess she understands completely what Trump is going through. She's felt it. You know, she's felt that wrath of, you know, being that unacceptable person in the room, even though you're doing things with the people in mind. So she sees that Trump is the guy that broke through. You know, that's exactly what she wanted for herself when she was running, but she couldn't quite break through the way Trump did. And, you know, it's because Tulsi is very nice. She's not going to do the things that Trump did. Trump went, okay, I see how dirty you guys are. I'm from New York. I can be just as dirty. You want to go dirt? I'm going to start calling people names. I'm going to start calling people out. I'm going to start acting like we're on a street corner right now. And I'm going to talk to you like you're just some guy in a bodega. And he was doing that to presidential candidates. It was incredible. But yeah, I love everything that she just said. And BJ Penn, when he says Dr. Evil, he's talking about Joe Biden. That's what he calls Joe Biden. That's what he calls Joe Biden. He calls him Dr. Evil. And, you know, I didn't expect it, but BJ Penn is actually such a good addition. I think I said this before because he has more of, he's ran for office in Hawaii. I think he ran for governor, I believe. And he's very much a voice of the people. Very much. Like, he's not a politician. You can see by the way he holds himself. He's not a politician. He's a guy who's from the place he's from. He's a regular guy, you know, has brothers. They fight. He was a fighter. Like, he knows the streets of Hawaii. He knows street smarts. He knows what should be happening in the government. He has a heart. So he was a really good addition to this podcast. Really good addition to this podcast. And Tulsi gave it that more government. She was like the government well of knowledge in the podcast as well. But yeah, man, Trump broke through. He is the guy that broke through, and they're making him pay for it. And you know, it's funny. She brought up, you know, how they went at him. You know, his first day in office, he was given a lawsuit, maybe more than one, but I know for sure there was one lawsuit issued by a organization called CREW. It's like citizen responsibility for ethics in Washington or something like that. His first day, they ended up giving him a lawsuit, just right off the bat. So this hasn't stopped. It's literally been from before he ran, like Tulsi said, you know, what those agencies tried to do to him, before he even ran, to the day that he won, every day in office, and even now as he's out of office, running to get into office again. It has been a nonstop lawsuits, smearing, indictments, as we all see, threats of jail time. Honestly, when you start learning about how much has been done to him throughout the whole time, I'm like, oh, he's the guy that should be in office. He's definitely not evil. I can say that. People who think he's evil, you're crazy. He's definitely not evil. He might be narcissistic. He might think a lot of himself. That's what happens on the road to becoming a billionaire. That's just what happens. You know, you're living that billionaire life. He's living that Hollywood life. Like, he had access to everything, right? So that's going to happen a little bit. You're going to be into yourself a little bit, right? Unavoidable. But he's definitely not an evil guy. And the fact that these agencies and these people have been after him this whole time he's decided to run for president and became president and now is running again, and they haven't stopped, it only tells me one thing. There's something that he is going to do. Maybe not one thing, maybe it's just him as a whole. There's something about him that's messing with the machine, that's going to gum up the machine, the cogs and the nuts and the bolts. There's something about him that's going to mess with it. And as we start to have it all exposed because of him, we start to see maybe it needs to be messed up. Maybe there is a guy that needs to break through. And it makes so much sense why everybody sees these indictments and just doubles down. That's how I feel too. Like, why are they going after him? They went after JFK, and everybody can agree JFK was a great president, great man, great president. They went after him. Like, maybe, you know what I mean? Every great man. They've gone after every great person who decided to step outside of the narrative and decided to do things more for the people than the people in power. They went after them, and, you know, a lot of those people passed in an untimely manner. It makes me think he's the one that should be in office. Love RFK, of course. Still love Vivek. Of course, love all those guys. Would love to see Tulsi run. Would love to see Tucker run. But it seems right now, this is the guy that should be in office. Yeah. And I hope he is. Like the video if you haven't liked it already. Subscribe if you haven't subscribed already. We're making 1 to 3 videos a day, and I don't know anyone else that's doing that. Other than that, I'm out.